Quincy Krosby is here from Prudential Financial. Rick Santelli with us, as always, from the CME Group in Chicago. How do you read into this rally, Quincy, that we've seen 200 points, pretty broad within the S&P after new tariffs are announced on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports?
I think the market was actually relieved that it was 10%, and the president seemed to be more amenable towards getting together and giving them a little bit of a reason to come in negotiate. But the fact of the matter is, when you take a look at the underpinning for the economy and earnings for the quarter that we're going to be looking at, things look solid. And if there's any sense that earnings per share are going to be coming down, I think that's what's going to affect the market ultimately, rather than the tariffs. This is ongoing. This is not going to end tomorrow. It's not going to end even in September, next year or January. It's ongoing, and I think the market has to focus on what it knows, and that is earnings per share, the economy, and the Fed.
Rick, what's your take on whether this is a negotiating tactic? Does the latest round announced by the Trump administration change your view on whether this is going to be short-term negotiations or long-term trade war?
I have no microphones left in the Oval Office anymore, so I would have to say that the only way I could glean any information to answer that question would be to shadow box it from things we can touch and measure, like the stock market, like the credit markets, like a lot of different global markets. And to that end, what I see is basically the U.S. doing better than most of our neighbors, whether developed or less developed economies. And I think that the notion of us continuing to do better and widen that spread is a high probability. I can't tell you if this is a negotiating tactic, but I certainly do think that Quincy was exactly right. When we came in this morning, the Asian markets were already doing okay. The U.S. markets were called to do a little better than okay, and I really do think it's the notion that instead of 25% starting on Monday, it's going to be 10%, with the rest hitting at the end of the year. That certainly does seem to me to be a crack in the door of negotiations.